So now let us look at the Juniper example with a NAT pool, similar to the NAT pool that we've just seen previously with Cisco. The first thing that we need to do is create a service set definition that is on this slide, and we've just called it S1. You specify which rules, which NAT rules you're going to use, and you specify the services interface that you're going to use. Junipers can only do one-to-one NAT inline on the interface cards, otherwise you need some sort of services hardware to do things like NAPT. This causes an error message if you don't have the services interface installed. Then the next thing that we do is we create the NAT pool. So inside the configuration under services, NAT, you say pool and then you give it a name, NAPT, we've just called it NAPT pool. And then the address range, low, you give it the starting address, then high, the end address, which is same as what we did for the Cisco. For the port, we've said that it will dynamically pick which port it's going to assign, or the other option is to tell it to do it sequentially, the ports that it's going to assign for NAPT. Next, we create the actual NAT rules. And so under services NAT, you now have an entry for the rule itself. Remember, this rule has to match what you created inside the services entry. And then you say match direction input, so you're going to match input packets and then NAT them outgoing. So this is for the list that you're going to match it on packets that are incoming. You're going to have the following terms match on that input direction. Then the term is more or less the same as the Juniper filter syntax. And for an example, we are saying from source address is 192.168/16. And you could do things like add a destination address to, and then you specify whatever. But in this case, if you don't specify a destination address, it will mean to every destination address. And you could modify this if you wanted to have it match just from a smaller range. And then the then statement has what you do if something matches that from statement. You translate it using the source pool, NAPT pool that we've just created on the previous slide. And the translation type is set to NAPT 44. So IPv4 to IPv4 NAPT translation. If you wanted to have multiple pools, you'd have to create them with their different names. And then inside the rules, you'd have different terms. So term T1 would match a certain address, then term T2 would match a different address and have its own different pool, then term T3, and you can give the terms different names that match why you have that particular pool. Lastly, you could do some logging under edit services. You could do adaptive services picks, and then you say trace options, flag all, so that you can log what's happening, and then you can see any exceptions that you'd be interested in.